love it. It's just that's what we wanted. Anyway, finish us off. We, not even that, but on the Thursday it was a Snyder Cut. Friday was Falcon and Winter Soldier. So we had two great pieces of content, superhero content back to back. Falcon versus Winter Soldier, great pilot episode.
Good start, to be honest.
Great start.
I think they did what WandaVision didn't do. WandaVision didn't have an amazing pilot and then gets everyone interested, right? Yeah. I think they spent a good bit of money, especially on that flying scene as well.
Yeah.
And they opened well.
Yeah.
It seems that it's interesting. We get to see the background on Sam Wilson's story with his family. He was gone for 5 years. Sam's sister has had to raise 2 kids while during the blip, and now Sam comes back. Now he wants to help his sister out, but obviously she goes, I don't need your help, you know. Yeah. And it's funny because it's a struggling time right now. Interesting to see what a post-blip life is like. Yeah. You know, the banks.
I was happy to see George St. Pierre come back.
That was really good. I loved it. And he's going to be reoccurring on it as well, which would be really good.
Oh, he just came out of nowhere. He just like, one of the guys, did you see that? And he goes, what? Yeah, he just pops his head out.
Exactly.
For that
I feel like his acting ability is even higher. I love when I saw GSP, I just went, because my girlfriend was next to me, and I just went, it's GSP, it's GSP. It was insane. I already knew he was going to be in the show, but then when I saw him, I was like, holy shit, the first episode. It was going to
come up that quickly.
I didn't think it was going to be that quickly. Now, what's interesting is we're going to see Zemo later on and how that all ties into these masked characters. But the main thing for me was that we get to see Bucky's kind of guilt.
Yes.
We get to see his guilt. Neither him or Sam takes the shield up, and now we see a new Captain America, which is this is not what Captain America wanted. It's against his wishes. And then you've got so many moving plots because Bucky has so much guilt, and he's crossing off names off the list, seeing a therapist and things like that, who's an ex-soldier herself. And he's struggling with the guilt of killing innocent people under Hydra's brainwashing and influence, and now he doesn't know whether or not to tell the person he's now become friends with and has dinner with. You know, it's a very funny dynamic, and he's also similar to Captain America. Do you know what popped into my head just then is that Bucky and Steve are two people that are very old. They're both they don't feel quite right in the modern time. Yeah. They're out of place.
Yeah.
And Steve was out of place, but he went back in time and he was able to be back in his rightful time and be with his love, right? The issue with Bucky is he's filled with tons of guilt.
Yeah.
He doesn't have any person that was in his time anymore, and he's in the present.
Yeah.
And he's a man. He's essentially, with Steve back in his proper place in his proper time. No, it's obviously a weird timeline, but Bucky's out of place.
Yeah.
He's got to deal with so much guilt.
Yeah, not even that, but like he had that dinner with the waitress, and she goes, "How old are you?" And he goes, 104. Yeah. And you think he acts like he's being serious, and she just laughs it off. I think they've just done Bucky like really, really well. I mean, but one thing that's interesting was I was asking about this new Captain America. So I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? The costume was off. He didn't even have the star as well. He had like red lines across his chest. And I asked my friend about it. He's a American comic book fan. He said that, well, in the comics, what happens is Falcon sort of rejects the mantle like he does in this TV series, and they have this guy who comes up, and I can't remember his name, but he I
believe he's just a soldier, to be honest.
Yeah, but he glorifies the idea of being Captain America and takes advantage of it, and it forces Falcon to take up the mantle.
Yeah.
So that makes a lot of sense. I feel like that's going to be happening because it's going to be Falcon struggling to come to terms that he has all this responsibility that he can take up, but he doesn't believe he's kind of worthy of it, and he wants his own superhero name as the Falcon. He doesn't want to be known as Captain America. He felt like Captain America was Steve's title. So I got a feeling at the end of this series we're going to see a Bucky.
I think he wanted to be his own identity.
Yeah, that's right.
I thought it was interesting because I expected Bucky to become the new Captain America, but then Sam was offered the title, and I thought it was strange because Bucky's the one that is a bit closer to Steve, to be honest.
And he does become it in the comics.
He does become it in the comics, but I think this would be a perfect way for Bucky to redeem himself, is to put good back into the world by taking up Captain America's mantle and doing that just like his friend would. I think that would be the best way to do it. I think and obviously they might flesh that out, but the most interesting thing to me is Bucky trying to live a normal civilian life, but dealing with numerous amount of debt, where he's got a book full of names that he's crossing off.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way, in a good way. He wants to redeem himself.
But I think that's when Baron Zemo comes in, because he's obviously Baron Zemo was the one who managed to brainwash him again. You know, I think he can't be brainwashed anymore, so they might have redone that when he was in Wakanda. So I've got a feeling when it's going to tie in really nicely now. However, I also had this theory that apparently I think there was more Winter Soldiers.
Yeah.
You know, the serum that was given, even though they were killed in Civil War, I think there was more, because the way that there was a scene when that soldier tries to hunt down what they call the Purple Hand or something like that.
I don't actually know. They're just, I guess, terrorists.
Yeah, and they kind of had that guy, he had that super strength, and he nearly not killed him and all that because he was able to swim around. Maybe that was that super soldier serum. Maybe this is what it's about, because they're trying to, someone's got a hold of that serum and it's giving it out. Who knows?
Perhaps, or they could just be metahumans.
That could be.
Sorry, not metahumans is a DC term.
DC term.
They could be fleshing out maybe the mutants.
Yeah.
These could be maybe post-blip. They've got mutant abilities.
Yeah.
Or they could flesh out the super soldier thing.
Yeah.
And that's essentially a good move as well, because they're able to show that super soldier serum does not... And they could even do that with a new soldier. The new soldier might try and recreate a secret serum or something like that.
Or maybe it might be Hydra.
Yeah, and it goes to show that superpowers or not, it doesn't really make you a superhero. Yeah. It's the character, which is what what made Steve Rogers Captain America. It was his character, it was his selflessness and his courage. Then when you coupled him with the power to act, then he was able to be Captain America. It's an interesting way, and it probably will set up either Sam Wilson or Bucky to actually take up the mantle. But I'm really happy about Marvel's TV shows. They're very high quality.
Yeah.
WandaVision redeemed itself later in the end. Probably those last 2 episodes were what redeemed it, to be honest.
Yeah.
But this one I'm more happy about. Yeah. Falcon vs. Winter Soldier, I'm more excited for than WandaVision. I think we've said that in the past.
Yeah, it starts more stronger.
It has started off strong. It started off. It's just started off different, to be honest.
Anyway.
All right, brilliant, guys. So we've just we've done a part 1 and part 2 of our podcast. So it's probably about a 2-hour podcast, to be honest, altogether. I hope you guys really enjoyed that. Now we've got our Instagram at The Last Set Podcast that you should definitely be following. We post if you're an MMA fan or a comic book fan or anything like that. We're always posting tons of new content that you'll love. You'll really